I'm getting hot.
Okay.
It is a lovely day. Yeah.
It's really lovely, and it's wonderful seeing you again after this.
Yes, it's been a long time.
Exactly. It's been a very long time. So thank God we're seeing one another.
Yes. No, thank you. I know this. I'm sorry, the first time when you wanted to go into the Zoom meeting,
Yeah.
it was crazy. I was just so busy. And and I said to you, well, if you wanted to talk about Mars, and I can talk to you, but I have no other time. I have no time.
No, not to worry at all. Not to worry. So
Yes.
great. I asked you to join this meeting with me because I know that you've been doing a lot of things. Let me introduce myself first of all. I'm Christine Locke,
Okay.
and I'm
Yeah.
the CEO of Diversity House, which addresses social inequalities.
Okay.
I'm promoting, diverse services across Kent. So this is a very unprecedented time that we are living in now, with this lockdown and coronavirus going around. It's a fearful time. So what I'm trying to do with this Zoom chat that I'm having is to try to, gauge what everybody is doing and what contributions we are making. So
Okay.
this title today is about women and COVID.
Okay.
Women and COVID-19. What are the different women doing?
Yeah.
It's based on our women and girls empowerment, and we want to see what women are doing. So with me today on this sofa discussion is my very, very wonderful, intelligent, lovely, and kind friend, Salvin. Welcome, Salvin. Could you introduce yourself to us and let us know who you are?
Hi, Christine. Yes, sure, I'll do that. I'm Selvam Padiachi. Yes, I live in Kent in a lovely seaside town called Broadstairs, in the middle of Margate and Ramsgate on either side. And it's popularly known as Planet area. And COVID-19, wow, what an impact it's having on our lives, isn't it?
It is.
And I have to say, at this very moment, I would have been in South Africa, my home country of birth. And I tied it in. I just took leave out of work. As a teacher, I'm a teacher, but a supply teacher teaching a vulnerable boy. But I had taken 5 weeks out because I also run a non-profit organization, a global initiative called the Storybook Drive, working directly with schools in the UK and in South Africa. So
Great.
this trip was going to tie in seeing family, dad and my brothers and sisters and larger family with this initiative, the global initiative. And there was a large charity in Johannesburg that was now campaigning for storybooks, and they were going to have a huge fun walk, a Gandhi walk. The organization is called Gandhi Walk.
Yes.
So anyway, the 7th of March is when I would have left, but everything had to be postponed. You know, the impact of COVID-19.
Well, thank God you didn't go. You would have been up there now.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, the interesting part at that time, South Africa had no cases, and it was all happening here only. But
Yeah.
still, it was a concern. What if when I come back, there's a lockdown and airports are shut?
Yeah.
But my husband is also in a risky situation at work as a dental surgeon, and I thought, well, what if he gets ill while I'm gone? And there were so many things. So anyway, I took the decision not to go, and I'm glad I did.
Thank God. But I know that your mind, just like us, we are in two cultures. We are British, we live in Britain, but we also have families way back in Africa.
Yes.
So it's actually a very difficult time for us.
Absolutely.
Because you're thinking about your family here, and you're thinking about your families way back in Africa, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely. But anyway, just with the onset of COVID and the cases rising and the community and everything I see on news with PPE, the need for personal equipment and the scrubs and masks and so on, I just kept worrying. It was a big concern for mine. I even started to Google how I can start sewing the gowns for doctors and nurses and so on.
Yes.
And my friend just messaged me. They were looking for fabric because someone was trying out the mask.
Yeah.
And I just took a whole lot of fabric, and they made up 80 masks. And the care workers at this care home, large care home in Canterbury, loved it.
Yeah. Oh,
And
wow.
then we got an order. They asked my friend, can they have 1,000 masks?
Wow.
And she then just created this Facebook group, and boom, I was in. I was, there's an opportunity, just do it for the community.
Yes.
And within a week, we were gone to about 100 people. At the moment, we are about 200 and some odd members on that. Not everybody's sewing. We've got about 80 sewers making the masks, and it's wonderful.
But you've actually gone ahead, because the first question I wanted to ask you is, what are you doing this time of COVID-19?
Okay.
So that's where I want to start. What are you doing?
Yes. Yeah. So when it started off, COVID-19, the day my trip, I decided that I'm not going to South Africa.
Yes.
I just was quite settled that the decision was made. And I just started cleaning cupboards. I just started decluttering. It was a great opportunity. Yes. I would highly recommend it to anybody, anyone that thinks what do I do now? There is always something to do. And the decluttering of cupboards was a lovely therapeutic experience, because I wasn't seeing my dad. I wasn't going to see my sister and my brothers. But here I was cleaning cupboards, and it was actually quite good. And with the news and the cases and people dying, it was a time of prayer and reflection for me as well.
Yeah.
I really became quiet, and I made an effort of praying more and meditating more and stilling myself. And I really loved the quietness of the period, Christine, in that I could...
Sorry to come in again. Was it this moment of uncertainty and having a lot of time in your hands, because you're not traveling again and you're not teaching?
Yes.
Was it what led to your mask making? Because I really want to know what got you into the idea of making masks, because it's really important.
Right. So the 2 or 3 weeks of not going to South Africa, there was nothing about mask making in my life then. It was a quiet time. My son had just come back from LA. He was at his brother's house in LA, and Dash just made it in time, and then American Airline was grounded.
Oh, yeah.
So it's my husband and Dash at home, the three of us. And for me, it was prayer that was really amazing. I just felt that I needed to, what do we do? And there's so much solace, and it was prayer that was very soothing and calming, because reading, each time you go into the news, you're just seeing that more and more people are now dying, what's happening out there. However, 3 weeks, I think it was about 3 weeks from then, that the mask initiative came on. As I said, my friend created the Facebook group, and I just went straight in, because I was becoming quite concerned about frontline workers, key workers. And, as much as my background is South African, and I'm in this community now. I'm in the UK, I'm in Kent, I'm in Broadstairs. This is my community. This is where I live.
This is our home.
Yes.
Yeah, this is
so I needed to do something, and I just threw myself into it, and the group grew quite large. And now, for the sake of conducting and coordinating, we decided that we'll go out into areas. So the main facilitator, my friend Paula Errol. So on Facebook, our group is called Planet Face Masks.
Okay.
And what Paula Errol decided with Alison Carter, the two of them, the founding members, they decided that let's go out into areas. So my area, Broadstairs and St. Peter's, was one area. And I put myself forward to coordinate that area, my little town. And there's Ramsgate, we have a coordinator, Margate, Westgate, Sandwich. It just grew. It was just
great.
Yes, it's wonderful. So basically, we are making masks. So initially, it was raking up all old curtains, tablecloths, sheeting. It's just, we decided all the masks to be 100% cotton.
Mm-hmm.
And it needs to wash at a 60-degree wash.
Mm-hmm.
So this information we got from the care workers themselves, because they have that knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And we had someone did some research with the patterns for it.
Okay.
And that was put out onto the Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone that wanted to sew, we needed to talk to them. And, you know, we started from there. Now, Ramsgate Haberdashery then opened their shop. The lovely man opened his shop to get the supply for us and supply us with fabric and elastic and lining at a nominal fee.
So are you people getting paid to do this?
There is no charge. It's all voluntary. It's voluntary work.
So how do you get the money to pay for the materials? Because a lot of materials. I know your time, you're giving your time and all that. But how do you get all these materials if you're making thousands? How many thousands have you made so far?
Right. We've gone into the second 1,000. We've distributed well over 1,000. We're now into our second 1,000. Okay. And so the fabric now is coming from we are ordering it. Okay. And Paula Errol created a GoFundMe page. Okay. And so we are asking, we've been, you know, promoting donations for our initiative. And that's been quite good as well.
Oh, good. Good.
Yes, yes. So, you know, and a lot of women had elastic in their sewing box. They had fabric at home, you know, so a lot of it has been coming from really kind hearts and the kindness of people. So that's where we are now. But we're still getting a supply from the big supply from the haberdashery in Ramsgate, in our local town.
So how many of you are women and how many, do you have some men involved in this?
Right. Well, I cannot give you an exact number, but I know there are many men involved. And if they are not frontline, they are definitely assisting their partners. And we've even had in my group that I coordinate in Broadstairs, there's about 30 sewers there. And we've had quite a few of the women send photos forward of their men ironing and cutting. And I know for a fact that people come to pick up their bags from me, their supply, and their partners have been coming. Everything counts. Every bit of help counts.
So women are very, how will I say, at the heart of this COVID-19, doing what they can to, you know, to support the frontline staff, both NHS and the care homes, isn't it? So
yes, because I do know that there's another initiative in the next town of Margate called Margate Scrubs, and they are sewing the actual gowns for the doctors and nurses, bin bags, and it's just phenomenal what the community is doing.
It's awesome because even some of my volunteers in Diversity House, they were the first to jump up to start sewing. They joined a national group and are sewing scrubs for the NHS. Yes. So you know, we discussed something about making masks here in Swell, but because most of them are doing that NHS scrubs, I don't know how to sew, even though we have lots of machines in the office, but I can't sew because the sewing group have now moved on to be doing. I can't sew anything.
Right.
Yeah. So the sewing group are doing the scrubs. And so that's why, you know, the machines are lying down there because they're sewing it from their own homes, you know.
Okay. Yeah. No, I've been just so glad, Christine, because I do love sewing. And I had put it away for many years now, growing up the kids, and then, but that's not an excuse because the boys are much older now. But I always say I should get involved again with some sewing, but it never happened with the busyness of life. And this just was a great time to pull that sewing machine out and get going.
So some good can come out of this COVID-19 then.
Yes,
this is you. You've not been sewing for years. You have your machine, but you've been so busy doing other things. and bringing up children.
Yes.
So you ignored your sewing and your, as a hobby and whatever you used to do with it. But this is a time now. So what
Yes.
I'm getting from you is that, yes, COVID-19, for us individually and collectively as a nation and globally, it's a very, very bad thing to happen because people are dying. Many people are dying.
Yes, Christine.
People are losing their loved ones. But I'm seeing now another aspect of faith. Let's just move away from the negative.
Yes.
There's another positive aspect to this thing.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that? What's the positive you are seeing?
Oh, I think transformation is taking place on different levels.
Yeah.
I think family life, a lot of people are reviewing the importance of family and just giving time for each other.
Yeah.
Discussions are taking place, round tables. And if it's happening in, I've personally, I grew up in a family where mom and dad, it was important to sit at the table and have meals with children and mom and dad. So that was my situation, getting married and having the kids. We all always sat at the table. But I can imagine that the same thing is now happening in many homes, and more so and more so. And,
Yeah,
and also making meals together. My brother mentioned this morning that they're trying out making bread, getting the flour and trying. His boys are trying recipes out. And so I think that, if it's just happening in our homes, it's possibly in many other homes as well.
Yeah, exactly what you said is what many people that I've had discussions with, that's what they're coming up with. They're saying, yes, it's bad that people are dying. That's the aspect that is so bad. And people are losing their jobs, the uncertainty of your income. So these are the aspects that are really, really bad. But today, you're looking at the positive. Communities are coming together.
Yes.
We're having sense of communities.
Yes.
Like you, look at you, from Brosters, you have tentacles now. Margate, and all sorts of Canterbury, all sorts of places, People are looking out for one another, People are talking to one another. I go out on my neighborhood now. Those people that never used to say hello to me, when they see me coming, they're not running away. They stand at the other side and say, hello, how are you? So people are beginning to appreciate one another more.
Yes.
So that's what I'm thinking.
I think definitely. I think definitely, Christine, that hearts are softening. Hearts are softening. And, if we have a bit more comfortable life, you tend to dwell more on people that have lesser.
Yes.
And around the world, not only in the UK, we know that around the world there's still so much poverty, and healthcare is not balanced. So we need to readdress a lot of issues seriously. I know that most countries, the leaders and the governments are amazing. It's not easy. Pandemic, it's come, COVID-19. Who knew? Nobody planned for this. It's the first experience. So, I think we've got to respect our leaders in whatever way. It doesn't matter. Everyone's trying, and it's the first time it's hit the world, and there we are.
We are all in this together. That's one good thing.
We are in it together.
We're in it together, and we'll get out of it together also.
Yes.
So if I think, and women continue to play a very important role in societies all over the world. If you look at, so if you go to the internet and look at the United Nations website, you could see the impact women are making globally. Women are always multitasking and doing things just like you and your groups are doing. Also in Swell here, many women are also going around, like you said, if you're in a better position, this is the time you begin to worry about other people. So
absolutely.
Many people are going about, donating, distributing food to, and women are really in the front line doing all this. So
definitely.
So it's really, really, wonderful.
No, so I was busy reading about the need for food and the Salvation Army and local food banks in our area in Thanet.
Yes.
They've been reaching out, wanting food items. So I decided, since I am involved with the network of women at the moment,
Yes.
why not put it forward to them that let's get boxes of food items together, and I'm happy to deliver that to Salvation Army or any of the other food banks. So every morning a box comes out at my doorway from 9 to 12, and whoever wants to bring a food item. I've also sent out an email to the Neighborhood Watch, and it's been wonderful. So friends as well, social groups of mine, they are also supporting the initiative of
I'm really surprised that you people are finding it difficult to get food donation there. You know what you need to do? Go to online, Fair Share.
yes,
There's
I've
Fair
heard of.
Share. Yeah, go to Fair Share, register yourself and your group there. There's lots of food to be given away. Like when we are at work in Diversity House, the volunteers normally used to go on to collect the food parcels for me.
Yes.
But now I'm the one that does it. So I do it Tuesdays and Saturdays. So yesterday, because we've been registered with Fair Share for 2 years or more now. So within Fair Share, I'm registered with ASDA, Tesco, Morrisons and all that. So they give you dates like Tuesdays, Saturdays, and any other day they have extra food. They will send me an email and I'll go straight and collect those food, lots and lots of assorted food items. So I collect them. Usually used to be at Diversity House in Phoenix House. That's why we used to set it out and people come and take. We used to also have farmers that give us vegetables, fruits, and all that.
Okay.
So with the center closed now, so what I do is through my online outreach and through the database of people I know, I have thousands and thousands of people on our database. So I know very, very vulnerable people that may find it difficult to go out or shouldn't be going out because of health issues. So what I normally do, those very, very vulnerable ones are number one. So every food I get, I label it, package it, and distribute it in their front doors.
Okay.
Yeah, so if we have leftovers, then I give it to the others that are not, very vulnerable. Those I know that economically, physically, and otherwise, they could go and get some food, But I always call upon people, if you have food or if you need food, do let us know. So maybe what I should advise is for you to go to Fair Share, sign on and say you need to. And they will also, not only will they give you food, they also give you a letter because you're you're a frontline staff now, because if you get the food, you will need to also go out and distribute.
I think, Christine, it is happening, but I don't know to what extent. I can't really say too much. I haven't really researched it, the distribution of food, but I know that there are quite a few initiatives in the area. So I don't really know, the shortage and so on, but I know that requests have been coming up for food items. So, yeah.
So that's all we can do. All we can do at this time is to be each other's keeper and share information.
Absolutely.
And, share information and try to encourage, one another. That's all we can do at this time.
Yes, because I think it's not easy for a certain population as well. For instance, people that were already having mental health issues.
For example. Exactly.
And so, there are systems in place and helplines, but if we know of a friend or someone that we potentially could help, why not, be there for them? And I think it's just about listening and letting them, it's being a listening ear to somebody.
Yeah, but I agree with you, but also what you're doing and what your group are doing is very good for the mental health. You know why I
Yes,
say this? Why? So you are doing your bit for the mental health. Why I say this is one of our service users, when I made contacts, because it's very important that when people are inside now, that you need to actually follow up
yes,
and fund them. That's why when we ask service users, give us consent for, to use your email or to call you at home. These are important because we never knew this would happen. But if they didn't give us consent, how would we get information about them? So with those
yes,
that gave us consent, we fund them and we send them email. But on doing that, I identify that, mental health, isolation, is becoming a very, a very crucial, problem to
yes,
people, because some of them are not used to sitting at home doing nothing. Some of
yeah,
them are, very active people, either doing voluntary work in the community or working or, doing or caring for other people, relatives.
yes.
They're stuck in house. And one young lady told me, a very active, healthy young lady, but she opened up on one of my outreach telephone calls. I said, oh, this thing, I didn't know how I could have coped if I didn't suddenly start sewing.
Exactly.
So she joined the NHS crop thing. She said, oh, I have my day now all mapped out. So that's the routine. She was
Absolutely.
missing routine. So when she
Yes,
wakes up in the morning, feed the family, she says, I bring out my sewing machine. And she
yes.
said, I will keep sewing and sewing. She said, that is something that is giving her sanity back. You see
Well,
what?
I've heard that firsthand from women in our group as well. There's
Yeah.
been one of them that's been in mourning. I think it was
Oh,
her mum that has passed on,
oh,
and her friend encouraged her to start sewing masks. And
yeah,
she said to us, she explained, it's just been amazing for her. It's therapeutic, as we said.
exactly.
We've also got Christine, older people,
Hmm.
and the best news was just yesterday I had a phone call from one of our volunteers, and Linda, in excitement, real excitedly, called to say her mum at 90 decided that, so Jean back, her mum, was going to make 90 masks for every year of her 90 years of living.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow, that's
And do you know
wonderful.
what has happened? So the
Yes,
granddaughter, so Jean backed the mom, the 90-year-old mom, I think she's 92, but she said she'll stay with 90
yes,
mom.
yes.
And the granddaughter posted that in Captain Tom Moore's page.
Good.
And their likes have gone on to 3,000. So Jean's likes,
Oh,
and she's just loving this experience of sewing at 90.
yes, yes. Now bringing up the lady that sews at 90, that really now worries me, that I've not really done my job very well. I have a
Wow.
lady that is 86 years old, and I paired her with another of my volunteer who is a retired nurse, but likes knitting. So
Yes.
both of them knit together. So I've not checked on the 86 years old lady to see what she's doing now, because that knitting and having that conversation with the other retired nurse,
Yes.
I paired them together. Because of this, both of them are in that age, very vulnerable age,
Yes.
86 and over 60 something. So so they've been apart. They've not been communicating or sewing together. I needed, with your talk now about this lady that is 92,
Yes, I know that
I need to make sure. Mm.
yes, so I know that that the hospital,
Mm.
the nurses have been wanting a hearts crochet, and the women have just gone into that project of just knitting and crochet, making
Crochet.
hearts for the hospital wards as well. And
Okay, so you
so
see what I will do? That's good information. So I'm going to phone these two ladies now.
Yes.
And say, listen, could you crochet anything?
Yes.
For the hospital?
Yes.
Yeah. Anything you think that would be useful, either on the table or whatever, or to cover medicine or whatever it is, could you crochet something? So that's one of the things, and that will keep them going. They will feel that useful again.
Absolutely.
See what I mean?
The other idea you could do as well, because it might be that, we don't know, there's the health and safety risk as well. So there has to be that where the hospital, I think when they take the scrubs in, because of so many hands that have been handling
it, yes.
They touched it, so they have that procedure. If it doesn't work out where you connect up with the hospital, then it might be just to do something for the town and choose a tree in the town somewhere and start decorating, hang them up, hang up the hearts on the tree, and it'll be a wonderful remembrance, Christine. Just get them to hang up these motifs and put them out on the tree. Find a spot in the town, and it will become.
Oh, our cenotaph, actually. I remember where I could ask them to crochet rainbow or something.
Yeah. Oh,
anything they think reminds them of what situation. Let them bring their own perspective of COVID-19.
Exactly.
Their own thing. Yeah, and so that would be something, that would be an ideal thing to do.
Yes.
Great. So what are the lessons from your sewing now? The lessons are you learning, and what,
Well, I think the big one is service to humanity. I've always, I if I can, that's been my passion. But when through life, as you bring your kids up, your children up, and it's their education and it's your work, your career and so on, you feel that you're not doing enough, perhaps, but you can't help the time. But the situation has been, now I've got the whole canvas the whole day in front of me, because my work had suddenly stopped as well. And I just dived into it. So it's given me a sense of joy, really absolute joy, just to serve the many, just to serve.
I love that. We are here to serve. I like it. And
that's it.
Yeah,
that's my purpose. That's our purpose. Well, certainly, yeah. I think I don't know what else to say, because there's a definite, the sense of giving for me. It's a sense of giving.
I do know that, and I think you're like me in terms, I feel very privileged if people want me.
Yes.
If people want me and want me to do things, I feel so honored. I feel so privileged to be asked to serve.
Yes.
So I live for serving other people. Many people will think, why does she want to say she lives for serving other people? I think it gives me joy to see that people think that I merit their wanting me to do something for them. So a purpose-driven life is a life that is lived doing things for other people. Yes. That's what a purpose-driven life should be. That's the legacy you should leave. I think this period that we all are indoors, people really need to do an MOT, do a self-assessment of themselves. Exactly. It's not just your car. You need to do an MOT of yourself and say, what legacies am I leaving behind? What will people remember me for? Yes. Am I that selfish person that I just go taking and do? Or what have I brought into my community? What have I brought into the next street? What have I done to that, to merit people even remembering who I am? So I think we all need to actually begin to reassess the way we've been living things.
I think it's happening on a very large scale in families, in our communities, in the world, around different countries. We see that happening.
Yeah.
And more and more,
Mm.
there's been amazing. The philanthropic Samaritan experience has been amazing. So I think COVID-19, Mother Earth has come to say stop
Yes.
and reflect and introspect and see what's happening, and let me rest for a bit. So she's resting now.
Exactly. Because let me tell you, it wasn't sustainable. The way we were living
Yes.
our lives, you know, rushing as if rushing all over the place. We never used to take time to just take stock.
Sit back.
We just all over the place all the time. But we have been forced by Mother Nature. Stop it. We've been stopped. Yeah, and I love it. So it's good. It's just the deaths. It's just the deaths. But and now on a different note, actually. No,
Yes.
let me go back to what we've been saying. Thank you for the video that you sent to me.
Oh, you're welcome.
I love it because you see, even though I said women and COVID-19, that women are doing something, that's the title, but I will also, you know, I'll be silly if I also don't acknowledge other people. You see, the proverb says behind every man, there is a successful man, there's a woman, isn't it? But I also believe that beside every successful woman, or beside every successful woman is a very good man.
Yes, you know, I think it's now time for us to appreciate our men.
Exactly.
and to acknowledge them, because I think there was that the years, for many years now, it was that there was a lot. We know that a lot of bad things have been done by men as well. And we know, I'm not going to give names here, but we know there's been high profile cases of rape and so on, and sexual abuse and the treatment of women.
Violence, yeah.
Yes, but at the same time, while that was going on, we certainly had men of really of integrity, and you know, we've got to acknowledge our partners. Start with our home, and because I have sons as well, and I know that they are amazing, and I would like. My husband's a good example, by the way. He's a lovely man, and what I like to know how the young men. So I asked my son at work, for instance, you know, how does it feel? And sometimes it's almost like we're not too sure now, how do we speak to the opposite sex and what is right and what is wrong. So there's been a bit of confusion to what extent, you know, levels of, if you like, social distancing. So right now, social distancing has come in.
Exactly.
So there's been a lot of thought, but Christine, definitely, we've got to appreciate our men.
Exactly. So I thought I need to put it out there. I know that in as much as we're talking about, you know, there's so much high profile, like you said, and the call for supporting domestic violence, charity, and all that. Yes, we know bad things happen. And unfortunately, bad things also happen to good people, you know.
Yeah.
But we know that, you know, some men batter women, they abuse women. But also, let's flip the coin also. Because we are, you know, Diversity House is about social justice. So let's also acknowledge that some men also are at the receiving end of violence too.
Absolutely.
Because it would be silly to say that it's only women that are battered and are abused. Some men are abused, and because of this macho thing, and society makes us to believe that men are strong, and so they swallow and they suffer in silence. Yeah.
Yes.
But in as much as we've said this, there are good men.
Yes.
As much as you have good women, and so to actually be very fair, I will also want to acknowledge the men, more so the men that's been supporting all of you in sewing and ironing. And I'm going to use that clip, which you have kindly permitted me to use.
Yes, sure.
because we need to reward these men. We shouldn't be just saying, oh, domestic violence men are doing that. But what of those ones that are doing very good? What
Yes,
of those ones that are very
absolutely.
supportive?
You know, even in the network of sewers, there are quite a few men that are driving their women around or coming to pick up the fabric.
Yeah.
I know someone that's cutting, so he then went on to buy a special cutter, and he started it himself, cutting on the board, and his wife was quite proud to take photos of him doing it and put it out in the group. And you know, that's amazing. That's just amazing. There's another couple, the wife, she's in the vulnerable category, so she cannot come out. And so her husband works all day at home, and at night, about 8 o'clock, he pops over to pick up her fabric and whatever she needs. And I said, you know, it's not a hard thing. He said it's a pleasure because he runs or does his one exercise a day, ties it up with his exercise. And so Darren is quite proud to do that. He says, no, it's actually a pleasure.
So we must commend all these men. And so I doff my hat for you men that are very supportive of women, because without your support, men like your husband, men like my own husband, and many good men out there who are supportive of us women, because you know we are volunteers, we are carers. Women are carers. By nature, we love helping other people. And without the support of these good men, we may not be very effective the way we are. So I doff my hat for them. Now, I will now move away from your sewing and all that.
Okay, Christine.
Let's move away. It's good. Let's now talk. Let's talk about other things.
Okay.
Yes. Yesterday, and maybe as you've heard over the news, there's been this debate or deliberations about COVID-19, the way it's affecting Black and ethnic minority communities. The way they've been saying it over the news, one could read different meanings into it. So I don't want to, you know, prompt you to say anything. I don't want you to be biased, you know, because I will say something. I need you to give me your own take about, have you had, you know, the information going about?
Yes, I've had information.
What's your take about that? Is it true or false? What's going on?
There was information first about socio-economic situations, because our families are larger with second generation, third generation together, close proximity, and possibly that's why. So socioeconomic conditions, you know, living space and so on, maybe that's why. However, it was very interesting to listen to this man. I think he's Trevor Phillips of Equality and Human Rights
Commission, yes.
Commission.
Yes.
And he said something about biological, it's a biological situation, and we've got to face it, that the makeup of Western African men, he said that, and I thought that was really interesting what he was saying, that the impact it can have. So there's some link, and the scientific term, I don't remember the scientific term that he used.
Is he sure? Because, you know, is he a scientist? No.
Yes.
You see? But the problem here is that it's way back in Africa, it's not affecting them as much as it's affecting them here, as far as our communities here.
Right. So,
my own take, because we don't know until proper research will be done. So now these are, you know, we are bringing out another tool or information, you know, our own perspective of the whole thing, anecdotes. So my take is this: there are the social inequalities.
Yes.
You know, the social inequalities affect, you know, we are very underrepresented in many things, and overrepresented in bad things. Unemployment, here, we BME communities have, they have a high percentage of unemployed people. No matter your qualification, you will see somebody that is, has master's degree, PhD, doing some menial jobs that are not meant to do actually. So if you're not buoyant economically, it means that you will live in bad areas, you live in overpopulated housings with, high pollutants and all that. It also means that you don't have security at work. So you go to work all the time because you don't have securities. You could see that many BME communities need to have 2-3 jobs. Yes, and that's the truth. They have 2-3 jobs, they're not ever resting. So, because they've got to take care of their businesses here, and they've got to send money also back to their various places where they come from, you see. And also, because they're not resting, they're working all the time. So their immune system also affected, you see. Let me tell you, some ethnic minority would have lived in the UK for years. They're working so hard, so hard. Some of them have never taken time out to some live in London, but if you ask them where St. Paul's Cathedral is, they may not have been there. If you ask them where, some have not even gone to the Buckingham Palace to even see where it's situated, because they're working. So that's the problem we have. Apart from that.
But Christine, so what's the solution then?
Okay, let me finish. Let me come again. I've not finished that point and I will tell you again. Another thing, another problem we also have is that, have you thought about who are those people that are in high risk jobs at this time? Which population are in the high? Is it not ethnic minority? We have how many percent? Did somebody say 40% of the makeup of NHS is ethnic minority?
Yeah.
Your husband is a dentist. If I'm still working in NHS, I will be out there also, but I'm not working with NHS again. So many of the nurses, many of the carers, many of the cleaners, many of the doctors, many of the consultants, many of us, are frontline staff. Yeah. And then as domiciliary support service care or in the NHS. So when we are involved in high risk jobs, then it will impact on the person. You see what I mean? So that's another aspect of it. You could see all the people, most of the people that have died in NHS, and what that they're talking about. How many staff, NHS staff have died? High percentage are ethnic minorities. But look at their jobs. Yeah. No, look at the title of those jobs. They are in very close contact, with the people that have this coronavirus, isn't it? And our nature, we have a very caring nature. Do you understand?
Oh yes, absolutely, and work hard.
Yeah, we have a very, very caring nature. So even though that you are in the NHS or you're in the human services where you think this thing is affecting people, if you go to work, you're not going, if you're a home carer, and that's what I'm getting from even some of our older people that depend on home carers, and you know that some of our service users also own domiciliary, they own their own domiciliary care, services, and are ethnic minorities. None of these ethnic minority domiciliary care home owners, none of them have shied away from work.
No.
None of them, like I don't know if you made contact with the lady I gave you her number.
Yes, I know her well.
She doesn't even have, she and her staff, they don't have, they've run out of masks and all sorts of things. But that has not stopped them. that has not stopped them from going to make sure that those old people that are supporting at home, that are there, that are being fed, that are being looked after, that are giving their medication. So they're putting themselves, because of the love, and we are very passionate people, like I'm talking to you now. Our passion comes out in everything that we do.
Yeah.
We don't just do it for the money. Yes, it's important for money, but they're going there feeding. Some of those older people, their family ran away. Their family are only talking to them by phone. But these home carers, who are ethnic minority people, are still going, making sure they have their showers, that they're feeding them properly, they're giving them their medication to their own detriment, because they could die. So have anybody taken time out? Forget about genetics. Yes, there may be some genetic makeup that will make us prone to some diseases. But I also think that being treated differently also, do you know that, years and years of being treated differently also impacts on your health and well-being and your resistance? Do you know that?
Right.
You don't know, it impacts on your resistance to anything.
In a way. So my situation, remember, I've come from apartheid South Africa.
Yes. Yeah.
And so what we have to do is to help our people in those situations, because I get that. Because I concertedly took that effort, that happened, and I'm moving on with my life.
Yes.
And when I walk out the door, when we came to this country, and I would love to leave this message to everybody that's listening to this, be proud when you look into the mirror of who you are.
Yes.
Your color, your name, your race, whatever we are, whoever we are, who we are, just be proud. And that's our identity. And say your name until the other person can learn your name. Don't change your name for anybody. and because I did that when we came to this country 20 years ago, Christine. I said to my boys, look, and they were only little, junior school, and you are Tien and you are Dash, and you are going to say your name until your friend learns your name.
Exactly.
And they may ask you look different to all of them. And they were the two little brown boys in their school. And just be proud of who you are. You are an Indian. Your name sounds different. You're a Hindu person. It's just non-white, black person. It doesn't matter who you are. That's who you are.
There's strength in diversity. That's what, my children know it. My children, mixed of heritage.
Yes.
A mixed heritage, and they love it. So they talk about my Nigerian background, or their Nigerian background, and they talk about their British background, and they say, so we should be proud, but the fact still remains that
I understand what you're saying, Christine. There is that. What is the solution then?
The solution is that as time goes on, once this COVID-19, once we find a solution or a treatment, that we also need to come back as a society, as a nation, and I will say it also globally, because there are diversities in every nation of the world, that we need to come, because there's a divide. You could see it. This COVID actually brought out the divide in society. There's the haves and the have-nots. It doesn't matter what your race or ethnicity is. Let's call a spade a spade. There is this divide, okay?
Right.
And we must, if we're a society that wants to uphold social justice, if we're a society that should be proud of fair play, we must decide to find a way to bring those who are at the edge of their communities, the edge of the society, because of the economics. We need to and do something to bring them to a level whereby they won't, we shouldn't be a nation. Let's look at our nation. Let's look at the United Kingdom. I'm so proud of this nation. But we as a nation, we shouldn't be there whereby some people are going to pick food from the dustbin. Why should we do that? Why should it be that in this century that we're talking about food bank?
I know.
During the workhouse era, people didn't talk about, that's what you live today, when people were in the workhouses. It shouldn't be this time with technology, with the development we've made globally and in this nation, that we're still talking about food banks.
Well, we know that the last 10 years has been a government of austerity, and it's just not been good for this country. So the wheels will have to turn. I mean, there's been huge cutbacks in health and in education, in the police force and so on. And now it hasn't helped. COVID came in with such suddenness. We were unprepared. We were not prepared.
We were having lots of money. So where is all this money coming from? Where was the money? There was this money. Was it hidden somewhere? Where is it now? We're having this money thrown here, there, everywhere. It's interesting because I thought we are actually down on our knees, that we are flat out with no money at all in this nation. But suddenly come COVID-19. Woo, money is coming. Dump it there, dump it there. Let's be realistic. I'm moving away from ethnicity or whatever.
Yes.
Let's make sure that we support one another, that everybody see themselves as part of this nation, that we shouldn't have people that if it's only when they go to the food bank or when there is some food is being expired, has expired, that's when they will find something to eat. We shouldn't be a nation like that. And we should be a nation also whereby, regardless of your race and your ethnicity, that you have opportunity in life. People shouldn't be walking like donkeys just because they want to pay rent somewhere in the inner city London, and when they become ill, their body can't fight diseases because their immune system has gone. So that's when you see the BME, or when they're talking about us as BME. Yes. But look at some of the BMEs that are well-to-do. They're okay.
They are okay. They are okay. On the other hand, I know that people have been enticed to come to this country, to come and be taxi drivers, to come and be bus drivers, and come and be, meter readers and so on. And they came along. They came along because of wanting to change their own economic situation. They come for that. And generally people that have come from the outside, people work hard. People work hard.
We work hard, and we're still working so hard. I went to the hospital the other day.
Yes.
Oh, bless this person I met, this lady that I met. She's been in this country for 50 years. And she's been, in the hospital where I met her, she's a cook. Oh, yeah? So, I bet she takes joy. She derives so much joy in this job. In fact, you think it's you think she's the CEO of the hospital, actually.
Oh.
She comes very early in the morning, and I think if she's watching me, she knows I'm talking about her. She comes very early in the morning. That's in London. She comes first thing in the morning and does as if she's doing a world round. She carries her file and notebook, and she goes to each patient, and she comes to their bedside and she's not wearing anything.
Oh.
They didn't give them, because the people that are looking after their young children, and they
Right.
didn't want to frighten them by, you know,
I keep hearing that.
you see a hair and frighten them more. So she will stand by quite some distance, but it was mine. Actually, because I took my child to the hospital, I was actually now beginning to look forward to seeing this woman, because
Right.
immediately she comes, she opens the teeth and she smiles. And
Oh.
it looks like the sun has come out.
Oh.
And I, even as an adult, don't need to worry about my child any longer. It looks like the day everything will be okay.
Everything lights up.
Exactly. And then she will say, she will say, you think you're in a 5 or 7 star hotel. She will say to the child, what would you want to eat today? And she will drop the 2 menu cards that they have.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, let me now say the hospital, Stanmore Hospital.
Okay.
In London.
Right.
Wonderful place to be.
Okay.
And most of the people I saw there, they were also ethnic minorities, Europeans, Black people, or all sorts of people, and some, mainstream community. But they were wonderful people. And I'm seeing this mainstream, this cook lady, she's a Black woman, and she's been there for years. And
what I have to say, Christine, as well, is you cannot take cultural backgrounds away.
No, you can't.
We come with that culture of hard work. I saw my dad working hard, and his job, he took it as his own.
Yes,
although he was an employee, that was a big thing for him. He was the boss. It was like his company.
Your pride and joy.
Exactly. And in South Africa, it was a time when Dad was an accountant, and he shouldn't actually have been employed by them because he wasn't the right color.
Exactly.
It had to be white people. But when the auditors came, when they knew the auditors were coming, they would hide him away.
No, hide him away, poor gentleman. Oh my goodness, he's not good enough.
And his lunch times were spent in the factory and not with all the other white collar workers.
Oh my
but
goodness.
this is all that happened. So firsthand. But whatever it is, everyone works. You work and you respect and you honor your job and you give off your best. And I think in a way, it's not the fault of this country we live in. We have to appreciate this country for everything it gives us. And that's a choice people make as well, that yes, I want to work hard. I respect my job. And it is a cultural thing, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
You can't take the culture away from a man, no matter. You can, that's what I tell people. You could take a man out from, from the region where they come from, but you cannot take the norms, the social norms, the tradition away from this person. You cannot. That's our makeup. But we need to, having said that, society, we need to try to balance off, let there be equality a bit. But I also urge, after this COVID thing has come to and gone, let's also, the BME communities, we need to learn how to slow down a bit. We need to, even myself, I caution myself also. We do things, we overdo things. We work so hard, it's true, it's good to work hard. But we need to stay alive to enjoy the fruit of that labor also. So let's also take some time off, go out, take your children to the art gallery, rest.
Yeah, I, as a teacher myself, as a parent, as a teacher, I will definitely say it's absolutely important to do those things.
Rest. Slow down a bit. Rest.
Yes.
And so that when infectious diseases or whatever comes that need you to, your body to be strong to fight it off, that you're able to, you have some reserve there to fight off some of those things. Because it's not just about giving you medication. If they give you medication and you don't have any resistance, your body can fight, your medicine needs something within you that will help it to work.
Is it because they got to send money back home and extended families?
But we've got to be careful. What's the need of working too hard, sending money back home? They enjoy the money. You don't even enjoy it here.
Yes.
So we need to balance things off. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I do know that firsthand as well, because as a tutor as well, I do support some families tutoring their children. And say, for instance, the Sri Lankan community, a lot of them are news agents. They own news agents, and they work really long hours, Christine. They're just exhausted. The mom, dad are exhausted. And a lot of them don't have that time to connect with that child, to talk. And all the child wants is time. Our children want our time. A lot of discipline will fall into place with all our communities if we give our children time.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying, that it's very good to accuse the society, it's so easy, but we also need to take responsibilities of some of the things ourselves, we also need to make some changes. And that brings us back that this COVID and staying at home during this lockdown is an opportunity to take stock.
Yes, thank you for that.
And admit that in some places we've got it wrong. So that as individuals and as societies.
Exactly. Christine, when the lockdown just kicked off and schools were now shut, they stay open for key workers, children, and vulnerable children.
Yes.
But normal stream children were at home. And I could see on the social media, parents were anxious because the child is
tearing their heads.
The child is missing exam at GCSE, A levels, the prom, and I had to then get in and say something. How do you compare if we don't allow this? If we don't accept a sudden change ourselves and deal with it, how do we expect our child to deal with it?
Exactly.
It starts with us as adults, as parents first, and it will seep down to the child. You will have a calm child. So first, it starts with you and I. Take and know that it's going to be it's okay if the child missed an exam. It's going to be okay. What difference is it? Because we are now closer to the end of the year in the UK, right? Effectively, the school year will end in June, July. But teachers know the child already. We've had the child for close on to 1 year, and the potential of the child, and we can assess accordingly. Teachers can assess accordingly. So there was but it was, I can understand there was a big emotion in that. No prom, no exam, no school.
No, but some parents also we are fighting about how to suddenly become teachers.
Yes, no, but they didn't need to become teachers. I think
all you needed to do is to ensure that the children are doing what they're supposed to do, because the schools, most of the schools already put things in place. What we did at home here is my husband and myself, we had a family meeting.
Right.
So we called a family meeting. So we sat down, and the head of the panel was my husband. So we said to the children, this is what's going on. We shouldn't be frightened. Working together, we can overcome this situation. It's just a nuisance, temporary nuisance, but we will get over it. So life will continue the way it is, but we need to have a different format of living our lives now. This lockdown. So routine. Let's change our routine again. The routine is that by 7 o'clock, 7:30, you are showered, you are dressed, you're eating, and you're walking to school. Okay, we are not going to walk to school now. Your school will be downstairs in the conservatory. One of you will take the conservatory. One of you will stay up in their room with their desk. You know, you have your desk there and your laptop. So differentiate. I don't want two people in two different bedrooms. I want to be seeing one downstairs in the conservatory and the other one up there. And your timetable, look at your timetable. And their school was so good. The school also actually moved immediately onto virtual Google Learning. So they set up everything.
That's amazing. Google Classroom. It's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. They just set up everything, and the teachers were perfect. The teachers were there like we are, that a child could ask question or say, oh, I'm doing maths, I didn't get this. And the teacher will respond immediately.
Yes.
And they also form a group chat.
Right.
They had a group chat also. So they were doing and sharing ideas and everything. And the school was emailing and sending us email and doing all sorts of things. And so all you needed to do is not to be a teacher. All you needed to be is to be a listening ear for the child. Because my daughter could come and say, oh, mommy, this is how they say you should create your own dance step. Or is it like this? Should I do it like that? So you say, okay, show me. And they show you and say, oh, yeah. Why not add this anyway to be perfect? You know, things like that.
It's lovely.
Things like that. We were doing PE. So the teacher would give them set PE for them to do. Yes. And they would go to the garden. They go to the garden and they do the PE.
That's
you see
amazing.
What I mean? So,
yes.
So we had to, so there were also playtime. So we had to create playtime. And for me, this COVID has been very good because I'm not in my main office. I'm not in my office at home. So during lunchtime, when the children are having their lunch break, they come to my office and say, Mommy, can we play tennis? Can we jump on the trampoline? So I'm having more time.
Yes.
So, and it's because children are very sensible. You've got to carry them along when you're having meetings.
No, absolutely.
You must carry them along.
And the structure is very important. Structure in their day, a routine in their day is absolutely important. And they soon get it, and they know when the child know what to expect. There's discipline. There's more discipline.
And so, do you have any other words to say? How can people help this project you're doing? How can they help?
How you mean with teaching, with parenting?
No, the mask making and every other thing that you're working in and the community to help. How do you want people to help? You know.
Yes. So first of all, there's been a lot of debate around, should we wear a mask? Do we need a mask? Do we, don't we? And the debate goes on and on. Still, they are never sure. So they haven't told us. The UK government has not said, you've got to wear a mask when you go out. It has to be fabric. Anyway, we've just gone ahead because we know it will help. It will give protection. And we had first-hand requests from care workers. So yes, I will say to people, whoever's interested, just rake up, look for fabric. Cotton is the best because ideally she will kill off the germ at 60-degree wash. And happy to share the patterns. Get some elastic put together, and if you can work with getting someone to cut for you, it helps, because let's say there's it's a good cotton curtain, an old curtain that you don't need now, but you potentially could use it for mask making. Have it washed, cut up, and then get your pattern ready and start the cutting and the stitching. So there's been so much debate around the elastic and should we have it around the head? I don't have a mask yet to show you.
The one I have is I put it on between around my ears. Yeah.
So we've gone that way. We stayed because there's lesser elastic. And so that's what we stayed with around the ears. The initial feedback from some people was it can hurt the ear, but I think when that's worn for a long period, then that can happen. So but there's the tie-ups, but tie-ups is problem to get the tapes. Otherwise, you've got to make your own bias binding or your own tapes. So what we find most economical is using the elastic around the ear.
Okay. Okay, so that's great. So we could.
But you know, Christine, if there's anybody you know anywhere that wants to know more, just message me and I'll be happy to talk to them and how to set it up for the community.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's wonderful, because I think mask wearing will be the next phase. Will be, if we are going to get out of the lockdown.
Yes.
We will have to wear masks, whether we like it or not.
You know, I'm convinced on that. There's quite a few countries that have made masks compulsory.
Yeah.
Like Germany, I think start of today, from today, anyone going out had to wear their mask. South Africa, the president has told the people, get your mask, make it 3 layers of cotton. So everyone has to get their mask. But I think people need to be told. And if we could all, at least for the next 2 or 3 months, to just wear that mask, it's going to help. It's really going to help.
I think it will, yeah, definitely.
It will reduce the rate. It will help. You know, the research, the articles that I've read, you know, all are for and show that it will give protection. And you also, it avoids touching the mouth, the nose, the eyes.
Yeah, exactly. I notice whenever I wear my mask, I don't touch anywhere, you know.
Yes, exactly. And then also it reminds people to keep away as well. It's a kind of, it's a good reminder.
It's a reminder, yeah, to keep a distance, yes.
Yes, and I mean, I do get it that some people feel that if you do wear a mask, someone might think that you've got the COVID, you've got coronavirus. And you know what? I wouldn't care. I would wear it if it's going to help anybody.
I wear mine. I wear it everywhere. I wear it to do transact business in the bank. Yes. I wear it actually even going for tiny short walks.
Yes.
I wear it because
just go
prevention. It's not about prevention. It's actually about the other people.
It's of the other person and yourself.
So if you think about it, yes.
Yes.
So let me not take so much of your time.
No, it's been lovely. It's been good. Thank you for this, Christine.
Thank you. Actually, it's very therapeutic to see somebody and to talk to them. So I've gained a lot from seeing you, because to remember how long ago, it's been quite some time we saw each other.
It's been a while.
Time, yeah.
Yes.
So it's really good to see your face, your cheerful, smiley face. And to make sure to see that you're healthy and everything is going on very well.
Yes, thank you. The same with you. Just stay safe, and bless you and your family, and bless you for all that you do and for the
people. We all are in this same thing together. We all are. And when this is over, are you still doing your herbal thing?
Well, I look after my die-hard customers, if you like, those people that really. So I haven't gone ahead to build up new people and so on, because I've just taken that energy in a different direction. And with my teaching, and teaching is my passion. And
but still, when this is over, I think there are some young women that will need to hear from you.
Okay.
So, we may be calling you to come and share your wealth of knowledge and everything with regards to, because we need this at the end of COVID, healthy life and everything will be very important, because we need to get back to,
Yes, Christine. No, I think anytime, that you can just email me or call up, and if I'm available, I'm happy to help. I think for all of us, that's what it is. If we can help somebody, there's little steps I would like to say for somebody that's needing help in their lives, to take note of. From the time you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? What's the next thing? And, do you make your bed to start off with? Do you give thanks? Give thanks?
Exactly.
Is brush your teeth, come down? Are you doing some stretches, yawn and stretch and just come alive? Just do some yoga stretches or whatever. And then just, give thanks for the day. And you see the shift in the mood. And what are we thankful for? I just can't stop to be thankful for the things in my life.
My dear, when I wake up and do my morning stretch and all that, you know, do the floor exercise and all that, and then I quickly retire to my the garden where my office is, and I do my meditation. So that's where I am now. Most of the day, I'm here. I do in my garden office. I do my meditation. I pray and all that, and then I turn on my laptops and computer. But before I do that, I go, you know, have my have some fruits for my breakfast, drink water, shower, and I dress up. I dress up, and my husband, you know what? Everybody comes in my house. Everybody stand in line. I say, "Where are you going to?" You know what I mean? Where are you off to? Because I dress up very well. I carry my handbag and I carry a briefcase.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
I carry my handbag, my briefcase, and I wear my shoes and all that, and I take my car key, and they said, "Where are you going to?" I said, "I'm going to the office." You see? I said, "I'm going to."
I think a lot of people find it hard to work from home.
Yeah.
And because they've got to, it's just difficult to timetable themselves. And the morning routine is so important. If we can get that morning routine right, and the same with reading a book, for example, you know, are we reading? And even if we just read that 10 pages a day, get it done in the morning. You'd be amazed, Christine, at the number of books we would all have by the end of the year.
But I see that having this routine or the mind frame of I'm going to the office.
It's lovely.
The mind frame that I'm going to the office and dress properly as if I'm really going to the office.
Yes.
And I take my handbag and my briefcase and I march straight to the top end of my garden and I open my office door and I go in there. And I arrange my pencils and my pen and I start with my equipment and I start working. Because I look as if I'm in my pure office, I behave professionally.
It's a mindset.
Exactly. I behave professionally. Today I was supposed to be in church. So I dress, I'm going to church. And
it's beautiful.
Where are you going? I'm going to church.
Well, you know, Christine, who knows how long it could be the new normal now for our life. We don't know. We don't know.
My dear, I'm really grateful to you. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Christine. Take care.
And if you have time, join us on Zoom at any time.
Okay.
We're having weekly conversations and all sorts of things.
Okay, take care.
So thank you. My regards to your fine husband and your son. What a lovely boy you have there.
Oh, I will tell him. Thank you. God bless you and your family.
God bless you, my darling. God bless you.
Take care.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.